I swapped your sample at the IVF clinic with my ex's. I wanted the baby to have blue eyes. The refrigerator kicked on. Outside, a car passed on the street, tires hissing on wet pavement. Ordinary life didn't even blink. I waited for my brain to argue, to correct her, to tell me I misheard. It didn't. It just recorded it in a clean, brutal line. Interesting choice, I said. Claire blinked. Excuse me? Blue eyes, I said. That's what we're doing now. Shopping for features. You're twisting it, she snapped, but her voice wobbled. It's not like that. It's exactly like that, I said. You replaced me, like a part. She turned her palms up like she was pleading with a jury. You don't understand pressure. You don't understand what it's like watching everyone else. Stop, I said, quiet. The quiet worked better than yelling. It always does when you mean it. I looked at her and felt something cold slide into place. The moment you realize the person you love is capable of something you didn't think existed in them, your body reacts before your mind catches up. My heartbeat didn't race, it slowed. How long? I asked. Have you been planning that? It was one time, she said quickly. One swap. It's still our baby. No, I said. It's your baby, and his, and you used my consent like a stamp. Her chin lifted. You signed papers, she said. You did what the clinic told you. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Did he know? I asked. Her eyes flicked away for half a second. That was enough. Did he know? I said again. He knew I was doing IVF, she said, defensive. He didn't do anything. He just provided genetic material, I said. That's a thing. She exhaled sharply. He wanted to help. He wanted to give me what you couldn't. The words hurt. They landed right in the center of my chest. But pain doesn't always make you loud. Sometimes it makes you precise. Text it to me, I said. She laughed, short and mean. You're insane. Text it, I said. Or I walk out that door and I don't come back until a lawyer tells me it's smart. That froze her. Claire liked control. She loved it more than love. She grabbed her phone and typed like she was punishing the screen, then shoved it toward me. I swapped your sample at the IVF clinic with Grant's. I wanted the baby to have blue eyes. You happy? She said. I read it twice. Not even close, I said. I walked out into the night, got in my truck, and called the clinic. A woman answered with a bright voice trained to sound like sunlight. Fertility Center, how can I help you? My name is Ethan Walker, I said. My voice sounded too calm to be mine. I need to report a consent violation and medical fraud. There was a pause. The brightness drained. Sir, she said carefully, are you saying your consent was bypassed? The world switched from personal to procedural in the space of one hold tone. They transferred me to compliance. Ms. Keene's voice came on the line like a door shutting. No warmth, no drama, just protocol. Mr. Walker, she said, I'm going to ask you questions. Please answer only what you know. Dates, times, names. If you don't know, say you don't know. I understand, I said. What is your spouse's full name? Claire Walker. Date of birth. I gave it. I could hear her typing, steady, relentless, like rain. What are you alleging occurred? My wife told me she replaced my sample with her ex-boyfriend's, I said, without my consent. How did she tell you? She said it out loud, then she texted it. Do you still have the text message? Yes. Do not delete it, Ms. Keene said. Do not modify it. Do not forward it to anyone except counsel. Is your spouse currently in an active cycle with our clinic? Yes. Retrieval is scheduled next week. A short silence. In that silence, I heard something like contained anger, the kind that lives inside people who protect systems for a living. Do you believe any staff member assisted her? Ms. Keene asked. I don't know, I said, but it happened in your building. Understood, she said. We will initiate an incident review regarding consent and chain of custody. I may request you come in. Do not attempt to contact staff directly about this. Your attorney may contact me. I don't have one yet, I said. You should, she replied. This is serious. I laughed once, dry. Yeah, I'm starting to notice. After I hung up, I sat in my truck with my hands on the steering wheel and watched my breath fog the windshield. Streetlights made everything look like a cheap set. The house behind me was dark except for the kitchen light, still buzzing, still pretending. I called an attorney the next morning, not a billboard shark. A family law attorney my foreman recommended after his own divorce turned his life into a spreadsheet. Ms. Hart answered like she'd been expecting the worst. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, she said. Before you tell me anything, what state are you in? I told her. One-party consent for recordings, she said. That matters, but you already have a text confession, which is cleaner than a recording. Do not go fishing. Don't bait her into saying more if it turns into harassment. Keep everything calm. Keep everything boring. Boring, I repeated. Boring wins, Ms. Hart said. Also, do not access any accounts you don't have legal access to. No guessing passwords. No breaking into phones. If you share a joint account, fine. If it's hers alone, do not touch it. I'm not trying to hack anything, I said. Good, she replied. Forward me the text, screenshot it, export it, back it up. I did it while she stayed on the line, guiding me like I was walking through a minefield. That afternoon, I drove to the clinic because I needed to see the place where my life had been signed away with a pen I didn't hold. The clinic sat in the medical corridor, glass and beige stone, always warm, always smelling of disinfectant. Couples waited in the lobby with quiet, exhausted hope. I walked to the reception desk. The receptionist looked up, smile ready, and then her face shifted when she saw mine. Maybe she recognized me. Maybe she recognized the look. The one people get when something breaks and they refuse to bleed in public. I'm here to speak with compliance, I said. She hesitated. Do you have an appointment? Ms. Keene told me not to contact staff directly, I said. So I'm not contacting staff. I'm asking you to contact her. Her fingers hovered. She swallowed. One moment. A security guard appeared before she finished the call. He didn't touch me. He didn't need to. He just stood close enough to turn the air into a boundary. The receptionist's voice went brittle. Ms. Keene will call you, sir. I nodded and left. The automatic doors slid shut behind me with a soft sigh, like the building was relieved to exhale me back into the cold. My phone rang before I reached my truck. Mr. Walker, Ms. Keene said, we're suspending the cycle, effective immediately. For a second, I felt nothing. Then everything. What does that mean? I asked. It means no further procedures will occur until we complete our review, she said. Your spouse will be notified. Your counsel may contact me. I drove home on streets that looked the same but felt different, like the city had shifted half an inch and nobody told me. When I walked into the house, Claire was in the living room with her arms folded, eyes blazing like she'd been waiting to unload a gun. You did this, she said. You called them. I reported what you admitted, I said. I was venting, she snapped. I was joking. I didn't mean it literally. I held up my phone. You texted it. Her face went white, then red. You manipulated me. I almost smiled. Interesting choice of words, I said. You want to talk about manipulation? She took a step toward me like she might slap me, then stopped. Cameras, neighbors, the world. Claire always remembered the world when it mattered to her image. You're ruining everything, she hissed. No, I said. You did. I'm just refusing to carry it. That night, while she slept, or pretended to, I found Grant the clean, legal way. Claire's social circle was a small city with too many mirrors. Grant had a polished public presence, charity boards, foundation dinners, photos of him shaking hands in suits that cost more than my truck. He'd grown into the kind of man who believed consequences were for other people. And there was Hannah, his wife. In photos, she stood beside him like a blade in a velvet sheath. Calm, elegant, not fooled. I didn't send her everything. Not yet. I sent one screenshot, Claire's confession, and one sentence. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm giving you the chance to verify me. Her reply came 20 minutes later, like she'd been waiting for the excuse. What color is the scarf he lost last month? I had to sit down after that message. Not because I was shocked, because I understood what it meant. I wasn't the only one living in a lie. Hannah had been smelling smoke for a while. She just hadn't known where the fire started. I typed back, navy, thin gray stripe. 3 dots appeared, vanished, appeared again, like a heartbeat deciding whether to keep going. Meet me tonight, she wrote. Bring everything, and don't tell Claire. We met in the bar of a downtown hotel because it was neutral ground. Not my neighborhood, not hers. The kind of place where you can disappear into soft lighting and polite indifference. The bartender looked like he'd heard every version of heartbreak and stopped keeping score. Hannah arrived exactly on time. She didn't scan the room like a scared person. She scanned it like a person taking inventory. She sat across from me and said, "Show me." I slid my phone across the table with Claire's text confession. Hannah read it once. Her face didn't change. Only her eyes did. Sharper. Colder. "That's her number," she said. "Yes." "She put it in writing," Hannah murmured. "Bold." "It's not bold," I said. "It's careless. She thinks nothing can touch her." Hannah looked at me like she was measuring whether I'd crumble. "Do you have a lawyer?" she asked. "I do," I said. "Ms. Hart." "Good," she said. "Grant likes men without lawyers." I swallowed. "Did you know?" "I knew cheating," Hannah said. "I didn't know the details. Not reproductive fraud." The words sounded heavy in her mouth, like she didn't enjoy saying them. "He told me he was helping a friend. That's how he framed it. A friend. I didn't think—" She stopped, jaw tightening. Then she continued, voice controlled. "I have my own receipts, hotel points, calendar invites labeled investor dinner. A second phone line he claimed was spam protection. A work friend who comments on his photos at 2 a.m. like the night is a private club." I felt sick. Not surprised, just sick. "What do you want?" I asked. "The truth," Hannah said. "And timing." "What about me?" I asked. "What do you want from me?" Hannah's gaze stayed steady. "I want you to stay alive in this," she said. "Not physically, socially, legally." She leaned in slightly. "Grant will try to make you look unstable. He'll try to make you look like the problem. You can't give him that." Ms. Hart's voice echoed in my head. "Boring wins." "I'm not trying to be dramatic," I said. Hannah's mouth twitched. "Good. Let him be dramatic. Let him be the one seen." We compared timelines and receipts until the pattern was undeniable. Late work dinners, hotel points, the second phone line. Hannah stayed calm, but her hands were tight around her glass. Then her eyes sharpened past my shoulder. "Don't move," she said quietly. "Keep your face normal." A hand clamped on my shoulder in a friendly, painful way. "Ethan," a man's voice said, smooth as a salesman's smile. Wow, small world. I turned just enough to see him. Grant stood behind me, coat immaculate, hair perfect, grin calibrated for cameras. Hannah lifted her eyes. "Grant," she said, as if she'd never met him before in her life. His grin twitched. "Babe," he said. "What's this?" I stood slowly, letting his hand slide off my shoulder. "Tell me," I said, "did you enjoy my consent? Or did you steal that too?" The smile fell off his face like a mask losing its string. "What are you talking about?" he asked too quick. Hannah slid my phone toward him, screen glowing with Claire's confession. Grant stared. His throat moved. The hotel's soft music kept playing, something slow and expensive that suddenly felt obscene. "Claire's emotional," he said, voice low. "She exaggerates. She likes drama." Hannah laughed once, sharp. "Don't," she said. "Don't insult me on top of it." Grant's eyes flashed, then softened again, trying a different mask. "We can talk about this at home," he said. "No," Hannah replied. "We can talk about it here, where people can see you." Grant glanced around. He realized then that the bartender was listening, that the couple at the next table had slowed their conversation, that strangers were collecting his crack like it was entertainment. He leaned closer to me, voice a hiss. "You don't know what you're stepping into," he said. "I know a paper trail," I said, "and a clinic audit log." His eyes narrowed. He understood then, too late, that the clinic knew. And when a system knows, charm is just breath in cold air. Grant straightened, forced a laugh, and patted the table like we were all old friends. "Misunderstanding," he said loudly. "We'll clear it up." But his face had changed. He was already calculating exits. He walked out. Fast. The coat stayed perfect. The man inside it did not. Hannah watched him go. "He'll try to break you," she said. "Let him try," I said, because the words tasted like steel and I needed to taste something solid. Hannah nodded once. "Good," she said, "because I'm done being polite." Claire hit me like a storm the next morning. No tears, no apologies, just rage wrapped in therapy language. "You're controlling," she said. "You're punishing me for wanting a family." I stood by the coffee maker, not making coffee. "You committed fraud," I said. "You violated consent." She pointed at me like I was the criminal. "Do you hear how you talk? Like you're some judge, like you own me." "I don't own you," I said. "But I had rights in my own reproductive choices." Claire laughed. "Rights, please. You wouldn't even be in this if I hadn't dragged you. You weren't trying hard enough." There it was again. Ethan is the problem, so Claire's choices are justified. Claire the hero, Ethan the obstacle. "You're going to tell people I'm unstable," I said. She blinked too fast. "What?" "You're going to paint me as dangerous," I said, "because that's easier than admitting you did something unforgivable." Her eyes went flat. "If you keep this up," she said, "I will destroy you. I know people. I know your boss. I know your weaknesses." I almost admired it. Almost. "Call your lawyer," I said. "Don't tell me what to do," she snapped. "I'm not," I said. "I'm telling you what I'm doing." I walked into the spare room we'd been calling the nursery and locked the door. The crib box sat unopened against the wall. We'd been waiting to paint until after the heartbeat. Now the room felt like a joke nobody laughed at. My phone buzzed. An email from Ms. Keene. "We need you to come in. There are discrepancies on the consent documents." I forwarded it to Ms. Hart. My hands didn't shake. Not yet. Ms. Hart called within minutes. "Do not go alone," she said. "I will be there. And Ethan, do not discuss the meeting with Claire." "She's already threatening me," I said. "Let her," Ms. Hart replied. "Anger makes people sloppy." Later, while Claire paced downstairs, I logged into the clinic portal using my own credentials. The login I'd always used. The one I had legal access to. The one Claire had insisted I didn't need once things got serious. The portal showed messages, medication timing, appointment confirmations, a nurse reminding us to hydrate, ordinary details that used to feel like progress. Then I saw the partner section. It had been updated recently. Not hacked, not movie magic, a drop-down menu, a checkbox, a system designed to trust. Grant's name sat there like it belonged. I didn't click anything. I didn't edit. I screenshot it and sent it to Ms. Hart. Loophole, she said when she called back. Or forged documentation. Either way, the audit log will show who changed what and when. So she didn't sneak into the lab, I said. People don't need to sneak when a system's designed to trust them, Ms. Hart replied. That night, Claire found me sitting in the nursery room. She leaned in the doorway, arms folded, face calm in a way that felt rehearsed. You think you can take my baby away from me? She said. I looked up. There is no baby, I said. Not yet. Her smile was thin. There was going to be, until you called them. Until you lied, I corrected. She stepped closer, voice lowering. You don't understand what I did for us, she said. How much I carried. How much I sacrificed. You didn't sacrifice, I said. You traded. Her expression shifted, soft again. We can fix it, she whispered. We can start over, different clinic, different plan. Just stop. The offer hung in the air like perfume overwrought. Tell everyone, I said. Tell them what you did. Her face hardened. That's private, she said. So you want me to carry the shame? I said. Claire's eyes narrowed. You're enjoying this, she said. You like hurting me. I don't like anything, I said. I'm just done protecting you from what you did. She stared at me, breathing hard, then whispered like a promise and a curse at once. You don't know who you're dealing with. Then she walked away, leaving the door half open, like she wanted the house to hear. The clinic meeting happened 2 days later, in a windowless conference room that smelled like paper and anxiety. Ms. Keene joined by speakerphone. The medical director sat beside a risk manager who looked like she hadn't slept. A nurse I recognized from our appointments sat with her hands folded like she was praying not to be implicated. Ms. Hart sat beside me, pen poised, eyes sharp. She didn't smile at anyone. She didn't need to. She was here to be unromantic. Ms. Keene opened a thick folder. Mr. Walker, she said, thank you for coming. This is an internal review regarding consent and specimen integrity. We have concerns. No kidding, I muttered. Ms. Hart touched my knee under the table, warning. Ms. Keene slid papers forward, consent forms, signatures, initials, dates, then audit logs, timestamps, device identifiers, portal changes. I recognized my own signature. I recognized Claire's. And then I saw a line that looked wrong. Not a cartoon forgery, just uneven, hurried, like someone trying to mimic confidence. Ms. Keene's voice stayed flat. We are investigating whether documentation was altered. We are suspending services for this cycle. Depending on findings, we may terminate the patient relationship and make required notifications. Notifications to who? I asked. We will not discuss that in detail, she said. There are reporting obligations for certain violations. Claire would hate that, not the report. The loss of control over the narrative. Ms. Hart asked questions. Calm ones. Smart ones. She was a surgeon. She didn't slice unless she had to. When we left the building, the sky was low and white, snow threatening but not committing. The kind of day that made everything feel unfinished. Ms. Hart walked me to my truck. You did the right thing, she said. It doesn't feel like it, I replied. It won't, she said, but paper doesn't care about feelings. I pulled out of the lot. 2 cars back, a black SUV rolled out after me. It turned when I turned. I didn't panic. Panic is what people want from you. Panic makes you stupid. I drove like I always did, steady, predictable, until I hit the highway and the lanes opened wide. The SUV stayed behind me, close enough that I could see the driver's hands on the wheel. When I took an exit I didn't need, the SUV took it too. Then it moved closer. Tailgating. Headlights bright in my mirror like accusations. My mouth went dry. I thought about calling the cops. I didn't. Not yet. I thought about calling Ms. Hart. She'd tell me to go somewhere public, somewhere with cameras, somewhere boring. So I drove into a multi-level parking garage near a shopping center, cameras, foot traffic, witnesses in motion, and parked on the 4th level under a blinking lens. The SUV followed and stopped at the end of my row, blocking the ramp. The driver got out. Not Grant, just a thick-necked guy with an earpiece. He approached my window slowly, polite for the cameras. I called Hannah. She answered on the second ring. "Yes," she said, calm. "I'm being followed," I said. "Black SUV, not Grant. Someone else." Hannah exhaled once. "He's nervous," she said. "Good." The shaved head guy stopped by my window and smiled without warmth. "You, Ethan?" he asked. I didn't answer. I held the phone up so he could see I had someone listening. Hannah's voice came through clear. "Tell Grant he should get a lawyer," she said. "He's going to need one." The man's smile wavered. "Lady." "You're on camera," Hannah said. "Don't do something dumb for a man who won't remember your name." His jaw tightened. He leaned slightly closer, as if intimidation could travel through glass. "Tell Ethan to stop," he said. Hannah laughed softly. "No," she said. The man stared at the phone, then at the camera above us, then back at me. He straightened, walked to the SUV and drove off, tires squealing just enough to sound like a threat without being one. I sat there after he left, watching the ramp like it might spit him back out. My hands finally started to shake. Hannah spoke gently now. "Go home," she said. "Lock your doors." "I've been locking them for years," I said. I just didn't know why. When I got home, the house was too quiet. Claire sat on the couch like she'd been waiting for a confession from me, not the other way around. Her posture was relaxed, almost elegant. The calm was weaponized. "You think you can take my baby away from me?" she said. I stopped in the doorway and kept my voice level. "There is no baby," I said. "You know that?" She smiled like I'd said something cute. "There was going to be. You had to ruin it." "You ruined it," I said. "By lying. By swapping consent. By—" "Stop," she said, mocking my earlier word. "Stop acting like you're some hero." I stared at her. "I'm not a hero," I said. "I'm the guy who believed you." Her face tightened. "You don't know what it's like," she said. "Being judged, being watched, watching your life slip away while everyone else builds theirs." "I know what it's like to work," I said. "I know what it's like to keep paying and keep showing up." Claire's eyes sharpened. "So you think you're better than me?" "I think you did something criminal," I said. She flinched at that, then recovered. "You keep saying that like it's going to scare me." "It should," I said. Claire leaned forward, voice lowering. "You know what scares me?" she said. "Wasting my life with a man who thinks fair matters more than winning." Then she stood and walked toward me, close enough that her perfume hit me like a memory. "We can fix this," she whispered. "You call them. You tell them you overreacted. You tell Hannah you lied. We start again." The offer was sweet on the surface and rotten underneath. It was always the same bargain, my dignity for her comfort. "No," I said. Claire's smile vanished. "Then you're going to regret it," she hissed, "because you don't know who you're dealing with." I watched her go upstairs and felt that latch inside me click again. The moment you stop trying to be understood is the moment you become dangerous in a quiet way. 3 nights later, Hannah texted me one line. "He'll be at the Mercer garage at 9:10. He thinks he's meeting me. Ms. Hart had warned me about confrontations. If you can avoid face-to-face," she'd said, "avoid it." But Hannah didn't want violence. She wanted witnesses. She wanted a moment Grant couldn't rewrite. I drove to the garage on Mercer and parked on the 3rd level under a camera that blinked like an unblinking eye. The air smelled like wet concrete and exhaust and melting snow tracked in on boots. Hannah stood by her car, coat buttoned, hands in her pockets. Calm. Surgical. Grant arrived in a black sedan with tinted windows. He stepped out like he owned the garage, like he owned the city, like he owned the air between us. He walked toward Hannah with a soft smile. "Babe," he said. Let's not do this here. It's already here, Hannah said. Grant's eyes flicked to me, and his smile cracked. Of course, he said. The husband. He tried the alpha routine. He stepped toward me with that too firm handshake guys practice in mirrors. His fingers squeezed, like pain could make me smaller. I didn't flinch. I didn't squeeze back. I just held his eyes. You think you're righteous, he said. You think you're a martyr, but you're just a guy who couldn't keep his wife happy. That's your best? I asked. His nostrils flared. Claire chose me, he said. Not because she's evil, because she wanted something better. She chose your genes, Hannah said, cutting in. Don't romanticize it. Grant's face tightened. This is complicated, he snapped. No, Hannah said. It's simple. You lied, you cheated, and you helped violate consent. Grant stepped closer to Hannah, voice lowering. We can fix this, he said. We can... Hannah pulled an envelope from her coat pocket and held it out. Grant stared at it like it was a snake. What's that? He asked. Divorce papers, Hannah said, and a notice to enforce the postnup you begged me to sign after your work trip last year. Grant's jaw worked. He looked around and noticed what Hannah wanted him to notice. A security guard near the elevator, watching. A couple with shopping bags who'd slowed down because human beings love a collapse. Cameras in the corners. The world. Grant turned on me, fury hot. You think you won, he said. I think you're wet, I said. He blinked. What? I walked past him to the hood of his sedan. His coat was draped there, expensive, arrogant, a symbol of how untouchable he thought he was. Don't touch my... he started. I grabbed it by the collar and dropped it into a puddle of snow slush by the drain. It landed with a wet slap and began soaking up the city's dirty meltwater like a sponge. Grant froze. I looked at him. That's what you did to my life, I said. I'm just making it visible. His face flushed red with humiliation. He started toward me, fists clenching. Hannah spoke, calm as a blade. Touch him, she said, and I'll add assault to your list, in a garage full of cameras. Grant stopped, breathing hard. His eyes were wild now, the mask slipping. He leaned toward me and hissed, You're forgetting who Claire is. I tilted my head. Am I? Grant's lips pulled back. She won't let you go, he said. She'll burn you down before she loses. Hannah's voice stayed soft. Then she'll burn alone, she said. Grant snatched the envelope, crushed it, then backed away like he needed space to think. This isn't over, he said, voice shaking with rage. No, I said. It's just finally real. Claire tried softness again after the garage. She waited until the house was quiet, until the world outside was dark, until it was just me and her and the ghost of our old life sitting on the couch like a third person. She sat too close. Her perfume reached me before her words did. Ethan, she said, voice low. I'm scared. I didn't answer. I made a mistake, she whispered. A stupid, desperate mistake. But we can fix it. We can go to a different clinic. We can start again. I'll do anything. Anything? I asked. Yes, she said quickly. Anything. Just stop. Tell the truth, I said. I am, she insisted. Tell everyone, I said. Your parents, your friends, your co-workers. Tell them why the cycle got canceled. Her face tightened. That's private, she said. That's humiliating. I nodded slowly. So you want me to carry it, I said. You want me to be the villain in your story so you can keep being the victim. Claire's eyes flashed. I'm not saying that. You are, I said, without words. She stood, pacing. If you keep pushing, she said, I will ruin you. I'll tell people you're abusive. I'll tell them you're controlling. I'll... Do it, I said softly. She stopped mid-step. What? Do it, I repeated. Because the moment you say it, Ms. Hart files. and your texts become exhibits. Claire's throat moved. For the first time, real fear showed through the rage. "Who are you?" she asked. I thought about the guy who'd driven across town with a cooler full of meds, the guy who'd held ice packs to bruises, the guy who'd believed consent inside a marriage was automatic. "I'm the guy you thought you could use," I said. "And now I'm the guy who documents." Claire stared at me like she wanted to slap me and kiss me at the same time. Then she turned and stormed upstairs, leaving the air vibrating. My phone buzzed. "Ms. Hart, meeting set. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. You will not be alone." Then, another buzz. "Hannah, he's spiraling." "Good. Be ready." I sat in the dark and realized something ugly and true. Claire had made me into a villain by forcing me to stop being nice, and villains don't apologize for consequences. Ms. Hart met me at her office first and slid a folder across her desk. Divorce petition, temporary orders, letters to preserve clinic records, and a short list of things I was not allowed to do. "No texting threats," she said. "No showing up at his house. No confrontations outside cameras. You keep your job, you keep your routine, you stay boring." "Boring wins," I said. "Exactly," she replied. At 2, we went to the clinic's conference room. Claire arrived 10 minutes late with Grant, both trying to look unbothered. Claire wore a coat too nice for the weather, hair perfect, like appearance could fix the math. Grant's jaw was tight, eyes scanning, looking for angles. Ms. Keene joined by speakerphone. Her voice filled the room like authority. "Ms. Walker," she said, "we are reviewing an allegation of consent violation and misrepresentation. Do you understand?" Claire forced a smile like she could charm a speaker. "I understand there's been a misunderstanding," she said. "Our audit log shows a partner change on your portal account," Ms. Keene said. "It was made from your device at 11:42 p.m. on November 3rd. That change added Mr. Grant Hale as an approved partner." Grant's eyes flicked to Claire. Claire's smile faltered. "That's impossible," she said. "I never—" Ms. Keene's voice stayed flat. "That statement contradicts the audit log." The room went very quiet. Grant leaned forward, trying a new mask. "Look," he said, "we can resolve this privately. There's no need—" Ms. Hart cut him off. "Mr. Hale," she said, "you are not the patient, you are not the spouse, and you are not my client. You will not direct this conversation." Grant's mouth tightened. "With respect." "With respect," Ms. Hart said. "You can stop talking." Claire's anger burst. "Ethan set me up," she snapped. "He's controlling. He's been trying to—" Ms. Hart lifted her hand slightly, a small gesture that shut the room down. "Facts," she said, "not feelings." Ms. Keene continued. "Chain of custody concerns, specimen labels, identity verification, discrepancies, suspension already in place, termination of services for the cycle, further action pending review, and possible reporting obligations." Claire's breathing quickened. "So what? You're blaming me for your staff's mistakes?" she demanded. "We are assessing system failures and patient conduct," Ms. Keene said. "At minimum, services are terminated for this cycle. Do you understand?" Claire turned to me, eyes glossy. "Ethan," she said, voice soft again, Tell them you don't want this. Tell them we can fix it." I looked at her, the woman I'd married, and saw how quickly she changed masks depending on the room. I saw the desperation under it, the greed, the need to win. "No," I said. The word landed like a gavel in a room built for polite language. Grant stood abruptly, chair scraping. "You think you're some hero," he said to me. "You're just—" His eyes flicked to the security camera in the corner. He swallowed his next words. Claire stood too, shaking. "You can't do this," she said to the speakerphone. "You can't take my baby away." Ms. Keene's voice was almost gentle. Almost. "There is no pregnancy," she said. "There is a process. You compromised it." Claire's eyes filled, but the tears weren't remorse. They were rage in liquid form. She stormed out. Grant followed, moving fast, fury sharp enough to cut. In the hallway outside the conference room, he slipped on a patch of tracked-in slush from someone's boots. His expensive shoes went out from under him, and he hit the tile hard, palms slapping down. The sound echoed. A nurse at the end of the hall stared, mouth open. A janitor paused mid-mop. Ms. Hart's eyes flicked toward Grant and away, like she refused to grant him even the dignity of attention. At the far end of the hallway, Hannah leaned against the wall, arms folded. She hadn't been in the meeting room. She didn't need to be. She just needed to be there to watch the collapse. Grant pushed himself up, face burning, and saw her. "What are you doing here?" he snapped. "Seeing," Hannah said. Grant looked at me one last time, hatred so pure it almost felt honest. "This isn't finished," he said. I looked back, calm. "It is," I said. "For me." Claire was already at the elevator, stabbing the button like she could force time to obey. I took one step toward her, not chasing, not pleading, just close enough so she could hear me in the hum of the building. "You wanted blue eyes," I said quietly. "Congratulations. Now everyone can see you." She flinched like I'd slapped her, then vanished into the elevator. Outside, the clinic parking lot was lit by harsh white lamps that made the snow look dirty and the world look honest. Grant burst out after the elevator, face twisted, looking for someone to blame. He spotted me by my truck and started toward me with that rich man rage that always expects the world to move out of its way. He didn't see the ice patch near the curb. He slipped, arms flailing, and went down hard in the slush, coat swinging, dignity splashing. A security guard watching the entrance didn't move. He didn't have to. The cameras had already done their job. Witnesses had already done theirs. The world had already seen. Hannah stepped out a moment later, calm as ever, looking at Grant like he was a problem she'd finally named correctly. She didn't help him up. She didn't need to. She'd already served the papers. She'd already collected the receipts. She'd already made the collapse permanent. Grant pushed himself up, furious, and looked at Hannah. "You're doing this because of him," he spat, pointing at me. Hannah smiled faintly. "No," she said. "I'm doing this because of you." Grant's eyes found Claire behind the glass doors, shaking, face pale. For a second, the three of them looked like a painting of consequences. The wife who thought she could shop for jeans, the lover who thought money was armor, and the woman who finally stopped pretending. I didn't speak. I didn't need a final speech. I'd already said the line that mattered. I opened my truck door. Cold air rushed in like a clean cut. Behind me, Grant shouted something I didn't turn to hear. Claire sobbed into her hands. Hannah stood still, watching the world settle into its new shape. I got in, shut the door, and started the engine. I turned away mid-chaos, leaving them in the bright, unforgiving light, exactly where they'd put me for months, and where I refused to stand anymore. Needful things taught me how small leaks drown whole towns. Mr. Mercedes taught me that planning beats power when you refuse to panic. Dolores Claiborne taught me that a confession can sound casual and still change everything.